Ayé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórí. Láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sọ́yán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Adeyemo Adegbemi Gagari and I welcome you all to my new Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. Today we'll be discussing the origin of the Moors, why they are being either called the Jewish Moor or the Arab Moor, their ancestry linked to the Yoruba people or they being a direct descent from Yoruba land. There are references in the Torah where we touch on that too, and in breakdowns of how everything interwoven together historically. So let's quickly jump into it. I will re-emphasize some of the things that Velia said about the Negro so that you'll be able to understand it better in this video. What do I mean by Negro? It's very important for you to know, because the rest videos will be resting upon the idea of Negro. This is why you need to understand. Negro means Aniogo. Aniogo or Omologo or Omohalogo. These are the collective names that give birth to the one of the Yoruba's past identified name, which was Anago. Anago still exists today. Some Yoruba people still refuse to let go of that identity, even though we now collectively double Anago. Some still identify with the Ewe. These are random Yoruba names we all bear earlier days before we collectively came to identify with one single name, which is today's Yoruba name by identity. So the Aniogo, Omologo, Alogo, they are named that was derived from Omologo, and Omologo was basically the one that the Westerners or Europeans now randomly from different perspectives interpreted as Nigger or Nago or Hanago or Niger or Negro. This is why you can as well see that the Negroland is today's West Africa, and the name Negro or Nago or Niger was actually given based on the back of the people who predominated the entire region because of the Niger River, Niger people, Negro area. So even today's Nigeria too was basically named after the most ancient people in that place, our Neogo land. Niger area, which became Nigeria, Niger area, Niger location, Omologo region, the center place of the Negro, where they concentrated. Likewise, in the 18th to 19th century, Ibadan was actually the largest Negro city in the entire world, because it was the most populous nation or the most civilized in the entire Africa, because that is where the Negro people who were predominantly dominated. Do you understand? So in a nutshell, Niger or Negro or Nago or Anago or Mologo or whichever way, or Negro, is basically an identity with the Yoruba people. This is why in the Torah you can see the brother of Yeshua, which is Simeon, was also called teacher from Negro. Please take note of that name, teacher from Negroland. Barnabas, teacher from Negroland. Olùkọ́ láti ilẹ̀ Aníògo. Ọmọ olùkọ́ láti ilẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ológo. Ọmọ, you understand? So just take note of that word, teacher from Negroland. We will touch on that in breakdown. So what this basically mean, and before we go deeper, before we dive further deeper, we also need to also clarify why they are also the Yoruba people, and why the Yoruba people are actually the same people the Torah are actually identifying as Oya Sheriola Ishirela, who is commonly known as today Israel. If we go to the Deuteronomy, under the cost list of how the Almighty calls the Yoruba people, or how their life will be turned, why things will go from bad to worse for them, should in case they refuse to adhere to the commandment of the Almighty, which he eventually did, because the past or the prophecy in that Torah actually resulted to why the Yoruba people, it was stated in that list that you people shall be enslaved, you people shall be taken by ships to different continents outside Africa. You shall never remember who you are. You will lose your senses. And we know that the only event that took place in the entire world Likewise, precisely in Africa, in Yoruba land, the transatlantic slave trade that took place across Yoruba land, starting from today's Badagry inside today's Lagos, straight down to Dahomey, another Yoruba nation, down to Ghana, another Yoruba predominant nation, and likewise the other minority ports across West Africa, because the Yoruba uniformly dominated the entire West Africa long before the non-Yoruba began to come into our mixed. Do you understand? So we are talking about ancient time now, not the modern day, because things have really changed. Even the Caucasian now live in today's Northwest Africa. There are invaders, descendants. So things have stopped looking at today's map with the ancient history. So this is why we need a critical thinker, not a random social media surfer. People who can think deeper and try to picture what life was before the modern day map. Do you understand? So what basically happened is that these Yoruba people, they are the one which the Torah actually identify with as the real genuine people of history. So you can actually call them the Ethiopians, the ancient Ethiopians. This is why I think the Bible mentioned Ethiopia about 200 plus times. So they are not referring to the country of modern day Israel. They are actually referring to the ancient Ethiopian, whose some portion of them dwell in West Africa, Yoruba, Omologo, Negro, and some other portions of them dwells in North Africa, Omonuabi, which are the Ijebus, and some of the Ondos. So these are the major people. So whether you call them the Omologo, or you call them Omoluabi, or you call them ancient Ethiopian, or you call them the Jews, you call them whatever, they are all Omokaro or Jiribi in Yoruba land collectively. Do you understand? So that is we need to first clarify that, so it will give you a clear picture of what I'm about to say next. So where does the idea of Negro come from? I won't be defining Negro from my own, or from just my own view of it. We will take into some of the accounts that predated the colonial era, because so you will understand that before the entire world books became whiteified, you understand, those who actually saw Africa the way it was, and even though there's still politics there, it's not as much as the way politics is in today's modern day history book against the African people. So what does it actually, in many accounts, many pre-colonial books or accounts from different philosophers or geographers, they made us understand that Negroes are African people by nature. Moors are African people by nature. Moors are dark people by skin. Moors are Negro by ancestry, and they are basically Yoruba tribe from the same West Africa in ancient time, because they predominated the entire region. And we can as well see in one of the books I was able to come up with, which was written by William Berry, which was published in around 1840, and I think the book was titled Encyclopedia Erudica, Volume 1. I am forgetting the specific page, which defines the Moor as it was describing the Moor's head, and he said the Moor's head is the heraldic term for the head of an African or a black Negro, Omoluabi from Niger, Niger, Omologo, Omo Anago, placed in the profile, coupled at the neck and wealth about the neck, and blah blah blah. Do you understand? So you can go and check that book. So I'm not saying it from my own personal opinion. I'm saying it based on the account of many different philosophers, because there are so many accounts. I came about 4 or 2 different accounts that really describe the Yoruba people, the exact way the Yoruba people are, from their location. Inside the claim, if we break it down, it says the African people are dark skinned. The Negroes specifically are tribes of the Ewe, because Ewe in the Torah is actually addressing the entire, not just to the southwest of Nigerian Yoruba. I mean the Yoruba that dominated from the Dahomey, from the Gadangbe, from the Ewe, from the Aku down to Mauritania. They are They are all Yoruba descendants who spread across in settlings. Do you understand? So this account is basically referencing to the Eve people, which are the Ife people collectively that dominated West Africa, which were also enslaved according to the Torah, that they are the very people, the ancient people or whatever. So how did it all started? Long after King David, which is Odudua in my previous video, and his Judea families expanded and dominated the entire West Africa. When I say the Judea family comprises of the likes of the Bene, the Shekiri, those people that are actually siblings to Odudua, King David. They are siblings to him. The Benjamin from Baba Kobi. So people like that, they are siblings to Odudua. So they are settling revolts within Odudua kingdom. This is why the Judah's kingdom can also be cited in the 1740 map. The Judah kingdom is within the Ile-Ife axis to Dahomey, where Ile-Ife kingdom basically reaches and beyond. Why is Judah family, Judea lineage, the Edo, the lives within Odudua territory? Do you understand? So when I say Judea family, Judea, because the first Torah to ever be published was the Judea Bible. It's actually about their history. So when I'm saying the Judea family, these are the people who lives within the territory of King David, and these are the people who predominated the entire West Africa long before non-Yoruba started coming to their mix to corrupt their. You will understand that as we go further. So these are the people who are known as the Jews collectively. Because where does the idea of Jews come from? In a breakdown, I think I did mention it in one of my past videos, but let me further break it down in a more expansive way. The Jews are actually, this is how it went down. The Jews are actually a reference to what we know as Ifa divinity, Ifa tradition, Isheshe in Yoruba land. The idea of Jews are basically people from the priest lineage, like the Levite, Onifa, the Levite, is actually an indication that because this Ifa in the ancient time, basically originated with the Yoruba people. And Ifa was never only just about spiritualism. Ifa contains geography, it contains physics, it contains everything, and we know that this Ifa is actually a piece of two from the Almighty. So the Yorubas had everything within their grasp. They could easily contact the Almighty. You can see it in the Torah. Every prophet had the same oracle, Ifa oracle, to connect with the Almighty in heaven directly to ask questions. So the Ifa, the Odrufa and Co. is basically an umbrella of different attributes of life. When you talk about culture, you will find it in Ifa. When you talk about civilization or technology, ancient and sophisticated technology, you will find it in Ifa. And up to this very day, the phone that you are using to browse, the television you are using to watch TV, everything you are using to computers, they were all taken from Ifa. For those who basically don't know, the Europeans still honor Ifa. They celebrate Ifa technology till today in Germany. They celebrate it sometimes in America too. They celebrate it all over the world. They are basically praising the Almighty Eledumare through the Ifa for at least giving them the wisdom for them to have idea of how to come about this technology. And each audition they do for Ifa technology, they bring different gadgets, different education, because they know, the Europeans know who the Yorubas are. So they know they will continue. Why this Yoruba who actually owns Ifa continue to demonize this? Because we basically don't have a second thought about what we have, unless our destroyer tells us it's right. So how can you expect your destroyer to now tell you that your Ifa is good when they are actually benefiting from it and they are looking for ways to take it away from you? So that is a personal personal thing you need to look into. So this Ifa was basically from the Yoruba people, and it was actually comprises of so many attributes or teachings about the human being. So the idea of Mo or the Jews was actually derived from the usage of Ifa. This is why in Ifa corpus, in the praises, they always use the slogan of Ifa olujeri ikpin, olujeri ikpin. That Jerry, the testifier to the Almighty, or the oracle of the Almighty, became what was taken out, abbreviated as Jew. This is why every Jew, they are being referenced to as from priest lineagehood, because they are priests. Priest in Yoruba name is called Babalawo Onifa. Jew has always been a reference. Likewise in the Torah has always been a reference to those who are into priesthood lineage from the Levi side. Do you understand? So whenever you hear the idea of Jew, is a reference to the priesthood lineage who focuses their teachings and like mind around, so within the Ifa tradition or the Ifa divinity. So when we now talk about Ifa, this basically means that the idea of Jews as it is. So the Yoruba people that collectively, they are Ifa practitioners. They never had any other spiritualism until religion came. The focus is on the Ifa teaching, and under Ifa teaching, the Yoruba had a splitted group. Like in Yoruba land, those who are Yoruba people will testify to you. There are different groups of Yoruba people who focuses on different side of Ifa, which focus side of speciality when it comes to tradition. There are some who came from the lineage of priesthood. We always dub them as Idile Onifa. There are some who came from the lineage of how would I say, baptism in Torah. We always call it ìdílé àwọn bóyá bí ọmọ omi, àwọn ọ̀ṣungbèmí, stuff like that. The Yoruba can testify to. I don't know how to apply it to the English text. Please correct. Please make it known below. So these are the Yorubas have a kind of division of labor when it comes to tradition, and among this division of labors among the Yorubas are where the attribute of the mosque came out from, because out of Ifa, the Yoruba now have other groups who are known as Olujogbon, the people of wisdom, or Olumeko, the teachers, or Onimoare, people who have advanced knowledge of what is happening beyond the black continent or the continent of Africa. So these are like names that was derived from Ifa. So whenever you now hear the idea of Jew more, they are basically saying Ifa traditionalists who have knowledge of the faraway region. Do you understand? Let me break it down. Ifa is the Jew in the general term. The Jew attribute people who took concept or inspiration or guidance or teachings from the Ifa, and the Mo is actually a reference to the travelers who goes on voyage, who have explored the region outside, who understood how the life outside the continent of Africa. So if you take it together, it becomes Jew Mo. Àwọn onífá tí ó ní ìmọ̀ ní bí ààrẹ ṣe rí. These are where the concept of Jew mosque came from. Likewise, if you now added it to the kind of, you said Arab more, àwọn Arabi, they are basically referring to the Ijebus of North Sudan. They are Arab more. You can check how the Ijebu became they predominated the entire North Sudan, because that North Sudan was actually founded by Lamrudu, and likewise the Obalara, whose twin brother is still today as Oba Ajero in the same Ondo Ekiti region. They are all the same set of people. So they are the Arab more or the Jews more. So in between, generally they are either called Omokaro or Jilre natively. So it doesn't matter whether I call the mosque Arab more or Jew more. It basically has nothing to do with religion, because the reason why I continue to emphasize in this is because For so long, many history regarding mosques online, especially the malls in Spain, many YouTubers that speaks on it, they always try to make it look as if the malls that went to Spain to conquer Spain, they are actually Muslim. There are another Jew malls in America, they are actually Christians. They have nothing to do with religion. More, the identity of more or the Jew or the Arabism has nothing to do with religion. And you can as well see in one of another book I was able to come up with to justify my claim. I think the book is The African Presence in Early Europe. It was written by one Van Fatina or something like that in the year 1985. He stated that the word more has its origin in 46 BC. Let me put it again. The word more has its origin in 46 BC. That 46 BC is an indication that it predated the time of Christianity, let alone the time of Islam. Do you understand? It predated the existence of the establishment of Christianity, because BC is a throwback era before AD and to Dominion, when the Romans started to establish the Christianity, whatever, in the division of white people of Rome. So it predated the existence of a religion of Christianity and Islam. So, but today, whenever they want to talk about more, they always try to attribute it to Christianity that came later. So this more, either Jewish more or Arab more, they absolutely have nothing to do with religion. And this is why the idea they were able to get from Ifa were what they took outside West Africa to the rest of the continent. This is why the same more, the Yoruba Negro more, are now dubbed as the Olumeko, who founded America. Olumeko in Yoruba means we people of wisdom, people of teachers, people who teaches. They brought the first civilization to the land of America. They founded America more than 3,000 years, even the coming of Columbus. Do you understand? So these are people who founded the area. Likewise, those in Spain as well, they are people who founded. So there are different kind of malls in those days. And in this book that I just spoke of, the presence of the African presence in early Europe, it further stated that when the Roman invaded West Africa and they called the people which they met there, they called them as small. Do you understand? Let me start again. You will understand what I'm trying to say. He said the word mosque had its origin in 46 BC. That is before the Christian creation. And it was actually when the Roman invaded West Africa. And when they did, the people they met there are known as More. When they invaded West Africa, who are the people in West Africa? They had the Negroes, Omologo. And when they came to where the people they met there were known as small. And these same more are sometimes known as the Maori in Greeks or Maurus. And it is important to point out that the medieval Moors, extremely civilized Yorubas, the medieval Moors who conquered Europe, should not be confused to the modern day Moors. To not be confused with the modern day so-called invaders who are of Caucasian descent that randomly came, the French, so this is, go and check the book. People who like to make research, the name of the book is the African Presence in Early Europe. It was published in the year 1985 by one Van Satina or so. So you can go and make your findings. It's all over there. I'm giving you one of the books I could be able to reference, so you can make your further research about it. He's actually identifying with the very Yoruba people in Yoruba land, and people who were enslaved, people who were taken far away, which the Torah described as the Yasherela, that shall be taken away to different part of Africa. So whether you call the Yoruba people Moors, whether you call them the Ethiopians, whether you call them the Yasherela, the Israelite, whether you call them the Omologo Negro, whether you call them, they are all different people who of different attributes, but they are all the same Yoruba descent. Do you understand? So people should stop confusing the idea of morph to something else we don't know of today. As a matter of fact, civilizations, like I keep saying, civilization started from West Africa. If you must know how powerful or how great Ifa is in the ancient days, the idea of education was actually started with the use of Ifa, because in the Ifa tradition, the student of Ifa used to spend like 10 to 12 years before they can graduate, and each time of their graduation, they always have to stand in front of different Ifa elites to defend what they've learned for that 12 years offhand without reading it, because we are so used to oral education to put something. This is why the Jebus who are of Muhammadan, they always put something up head. They don't write it down most times, though it has its disadvantage and advantage. So after graduation, the Ifa elite will now decide maybe this person is fit to be. These are the concepts which the modern day university now uses. They will now adopted. After graduation, students will now have to defend their projects, be in front of different professors before the person will now certify their education. Do you understand? So this concept was basically from Ifa, and from Ifa it extended to the land of the Timbuktu. Timbuktu was actually not a book but a library stuff, to be precise, but they are teaching but it doesn't really focuses on education per se in terms of learning, but either from historical compilation and preservation. Do you understand? So from Timbuktu it extended to the land of Ghana, which is Jene. From Ghana, this same Yoruba man now went as far as Spain when they conquered Spain. So that was when they built the first institution for the Europeans. 1,000 years earlier, after the Yorubas had already been long educated in Africa, so they built the first institution, which was at the Salamanca in Spain. You can go and make your further researches. So we are the ones who brought the education and civilization to the world, and the civilization was actually derived from the utmost divinity of Ifa Eledumare, which started with the Yoruba people. So Ifa has never been anything evil or bad, and this has been the idea of Mo, Onimo Ari. So I will start touching on stories beyond West Africa later on. So the reason why many Africans of today may actually don't buy this idea is simply because in the ancient days, the entire West Africa used to be collectively occupied by the Negro people. That is for a fact, and we know ourselves, we know how we go back and forth. But after the fall of North Africa, that the invader have succeeded redominating these places, most of the Egyptians who fled that place, and likewise the Ijebu and the Ondo people, those ones are validated, they have to come back to their majority kind. But the indigenous Kemites who left that place, majority of them also fled along to them with West Africa. So these indigenous Kemites now interbreed with the Negro people, which is why we now have many people who doesn't really adhere with the story of the Negro again, because we now have those who are not purely Negroes like the way it used to be then. These are some of the people whose father ran away from North Africa when the Caucasian of different invasion persisted. Do you understand? As a matter of fact, the Yoruba people who migrated out of, because there were 4 migrations. Some went through the deserted Sahara region, landed at today's Ghana, Mali, while some walk through, why someone journey down to West Africa through the Niger Congo area, they enter through the Maiduguri straight down to the river Niger, River Benue, to Kogi. From Kogi they reaches Ilorin, Ogbomoso, Osun State, straight down to today's Yoruba land. Why some of them dwell in Eko, like some of the Ijebu. There are stories behind it. So I will try my best to be touching on these stories. You will understand it. I will give you clues which you can also use to find your own, to make your own research. So I won't be the only one just knowing all these things, because I don't care about what people know. I don't care about if the truth is coming from you or someone else. I just want all of us to have an open mind and to be a deep thinker. I will see you in my next video. Please let me subscribe, share the like button. I really thank each one of you who have been supporting me, who have made this channel to actually excel. You're giving me so much confidence and to do more and more. Sometimes I've even been disturbed because I'm scared of not giving you what you are used to in terms of expectation. So in other words, I will keep trying my best.